Welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Traditional markets are closed today, Monday, May 30th, Memorial Day in the United States. And for any of you watching that is serving or has served in the military, I want to thank you for your service. I served 4 years in the Navy right out of high school. My dad was 20 years in the military. My grandfather was a Pearl Harbor survivor. So we come from a long line of military service in my family. So for all of you who have served and are currently serving, I want to thank you for your service. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I have something that I've been kind of watching with Bitcoin here. So we're just going to do a real quick video on Bitcoin price action. Bitcoin tried to make a little bit of a rally breakout here from this pattern that everybody's been watching, broke that trend line. Let's draw it right here real quick. This little trend line here that a lot of people have been watching, call it a triangle, a wedge, flag, whatever you want to call it. Basically, the trend's been down. Bitcoin broke out and is trying to put in some continuation. So the question is, will this continue, or is this just a little false breakout right here? So a couple of things to look at with this is, number one, we've seen it before, obviously, as Bitcoin's been breaking down and putting in these lower highs on a daily. That's really all it is another lower high. The other thing to watch is the weekly. So Bitcoin did close that last week down. So this week is starting obviously in the green. So the question is, will it be able to break that trend and kind of get a nice little relief rally for a couple of weeks? But here's the thing that I've been watching. Let's go back to the daily here, and let's put this signal on here that I've been kind of keeping an eye on. And what we can see here is the 50 has crossed over the 100 again. So the green is the 50 or daily, I'm sorry, 50-day moving average. The blue is the 100-day moving average. The red is the 200-day moving average. And generally in bear markets, Bitcoin's going to rally up to the 200-day a couple of times, like it did back in 2018. It got rejected off the 200-day moving average a couple of times. And every time the 50 crossed down below the 100, we saw a drop of about, on average, I mean, the first couple of them were about 40%, but on average, whenever it does that, from the point of the cross, it tends to drop another 25 to 30% throughout the history of Bitcoin in different areas where that 50 crosses down below the 100-day moving average. Sometimes it's real quick, sometimes it takes a little time. But let's look at recent history. And this is the indicator that I've been looking at. So let's go to last year and look at it right here. So from the point that the average is crossed, again, these are lagging indicators, but still it's kind of interesting to watch. It did drop 29%. So when the 50 dropped below the 100, crossed the 100 right here, 50 crosses the 100 here earlier this year, or actually, no, that was back in December. So this was a significant drop here, obviously, but from that point, it dropped another 34%. So 29, 30, 35, and 40 in the past. So let's take a look at what that looks like right now. And from the point that Bitcoin dropped, so from the point that the 50 crossed over is about right here. And if Bitcoin dropped another, 20, let's say 29 to 30%, 35%, that's in that 20 to $24,000 range. So somewhere in there, and there's a lot of other indicators that have been lining up with that 20 to 24,000 range. Let's get back on the weekly here. And obviously what we've been really tracking is price working its way to that 200-week moving average. And if price continues to work its way on like this, that's that 200-week moving average, and Bitcoin kind of works its way like that, that could put it right around that $24,000, $25,000 price point, which obviously this low here was 25. So it all depends on how fast that occurs and how quick that happens. And if we look at this cross that is happening here potentially on the 50-week and the 100-week, where have we seen that before in the past? Right here. And that generally happens after the bottom is reached. And you can see from the point of that cross, if you go back, the bottom is oftentimes about, it looks like 63 days prior to that cross. So if you extrapolate that out, and let's say if we're finding a bottom in this area, somewhere around here, let's see, we're 63 days. So it's right in that range. So it looks like another month or so that Bitcoin could kind of work its way through here before it reaches that 200-day moving average. It could potentially be a month to 2 months, depending on what happens. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on out there in the global macroeconomic environment that we've been covering. But that was kind of interesting there that I wanted to take a peek at, was this 50 crossing down below the 100 again, and what typically happens from the point of that cross in price action with that declination. And it kind of did happen right here, I guess you could say. When it initially crossed, that price did dump down to 25,000, and that was a 20% decline. So the question is, will it drop some more? Is it going to bounce around here and kind of wait for the 200-week moving average to come up to it? Or is there going to be another significant continuation to the downside right now? And is this just another, let's turn this off real quick. Is this just another point of consolidation along the path, another lower high, and then kind of work its way down like we've been watching? Consolidates here, bounces, consolidates here, drops, consolidates here, drops, just kind of downward action and dropping. Are we going to see another leg down to get back to these lower levels like a lot of people have been calling for? So that's just something to keep an eye on. The other thing to watch is from the peak to the bottom of the bear market previously in 2018. This is the other thing I've been kind of looking at. It took essentially to reach the exact bottom 365 days, so pretty much a year. So if we go from this, obviously a lot of indicators and technical indicators and analysis will call the top back here in April of 2021, but this recent local top right here, all-time high, if you go out 365 days, then that's going to put you, 1 year from there, obviously, is going to put you back around that, let's see where that lands us. Obviously back in November. So several months to go before it can potentially reach a bottom if that plays out like it did last time from here. If you look over, obviously the peak from here was April of 2021. We've already passed that. Something else to look at is Memorial Day weekend last year. So if you look at May timeframe last year, here is the 30th Memorial Day. So Monday, Tuesday, we're up. A little bit of a down day on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday up, then dropped right back down into the range. And the week prior to that, you can see what happened. But last Memorial Day price was up for a couple of days in a row. So here's what we've got, the 30th. So is it going to continue? Is it going to reverse? We'll just have to wait and see. Here's price on the hourly, kind of stalling out right here, losing a little momentum at the upper range of this price pattern here. So price could continue to range on and kind of work its way, lower like it's been doing, waiting for that 200-week moving average to rise up and meet. So those are the things I'm looking at today. I thought that moving average, the 50 crossing down below the 100, is something interesting to watch. We've seen it before, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And I'll see you on the next video.